I haven't done stuff like this in a long time. I try to make YouTube videos as like a preteen and a early teenager and stuff, and things have been different. I've gotten used to TikTok by now, but welcome back to YouTube, me at me. Like a decade later, can I age myself? So, I've decided that it doesn't matter if it's perfect. I'm gonna start making these videos because I think that they could be helpful, and if people think that they can be helpful, and I'm helping people, it's good enough for me. I will just have to edit these down when I can. So, I'm going to be doing some makeup tutorials, and I'm going to be making these makeup tutorials specifically catering to trans folks, because I'm non-binary, I am trans, and I'm more specifically gender fluid. So the way I present myself, the way I feel and express gender, or the lack thereof, varies all the time. And so I have learned a lot of ways to use makeup to kind of shapeshift almost, in order to kind of glide between the binaries, which also means that I have tips and tricks that help people transitioning in any direction. I want to utilize that because I had to learn a lot of it the hard way, and I want to save someone the hassle and the hardship of learning the hard way if possible. No matter what, there's going to be difficulties, there's going to be things that just don't make sense, and it's going to take a while to learn them, so you have to be patient with yourself. But if I can walk you through it and help you out, especially with the disadvantage of if you're trans, you usually don't learn a lot of these things, like growing up, especially if you happen to be AMAP, because it's just not normalized when you're being brought up in that childhood a lot of the time. So, I want to help out. I want to give some tips and tricks, and I want to start with one that I struggled with the longest, which is contouring. I'm going to do a split contour. I'm going to do one side femme, one side mask. I'm going to explain what I'm doing and why, and hopefully then it'll make more sense. And if you have any questions, things don't make sense, let me know, and I'll see what I can address. I'll do my best. I actually do really want to help people out, so let me know how I can. I want to start with breaking down some basics that I don't think get explained in a way that makes sense conceptually to build off of, because faces are individualized, and I mean, that's a very commonly known thing. But working with that's important. It's why I want to be able to give you feedback, because your face is not going to be the same as mine. And it may have similarities, it may be totally different, but I want to break down the concepts of like my bone structure that I'm working with, what I'm accentuating, and why. So you can see I'm holding a doohickey here. It's a ring light. It attaches to a tripod, and I use it for a lot of my nicer lighting. I dimmed the room itself. I'm going to use it to create harsh lighting while looking at myself in this little camera window. You can do it with a mirror. You can use your phone flashlight probably, especially if you have a dimming option or you get an app that allows that. And you can look in the mirror and do these kind of things and get an idea of what you're working with and what your structure is, what you want to accentuate, where and how. These skills will build. It can seem daunting at first, but I'm going to try to walk you through it. So, I'm going to give you a view of my face. That's kind of going around from front lighting. Go around completely front lit, and from the different angles. This shows you a lot about my structure. Go down and up. So what are you looking at, right? Like what? Cool, that's a face. What does it mean? Well, areas like this are usually ones that you would highlight. See, it catches really bright right there, even when the rest of my face is lit on that side, right here too. So I can see that the parts of my face that face the most forward are where the bone is, where my skull is. It's just your skeleton trying to escape, and you have to accentuate that in different ways to show people what your skeleton looks like. Gender is very odd to me. Anyways, so when I'm going for more feminine looks, I usually want to accentuate my face going kind of upward. I want to be more bottom heavy with my makeup when I'm trying to look more masculine, which will probably make sense later. So when I'm doing a more masculine contour, I'm looking for these shadows. The shadows on my lower face. I have my cheekbone here, cast this shadow. Along here, kind of accentuates where my teeth come forward. This is actually a gap in your jaw of your skeleton. And this is where your jaw comes forward. And this is also something I accentuate when I do the more masculine makeup. I do tend to accentuate my jaw for my feminine makeup too. I don't bring it up as high. It makes it less bottom heavy. I still like to accentuate my jawline in general. I also will accentuate this little divot and up, but I won't always necessarily connect it here unless I'm trying to look almost more sickly. It can look a little bit less natural if there's just a harsh line here. I find harshest being here and blending towards each other looks the most natural. Now for my more feminine makeup when I'm contouring, I will actually contour this area with the cheekbones, because cheekbones is usually a prominent feature in both being masculine and feminine presenting. I accentuate it with my blush. I don't tend to wear a lot of blush for my more masculine looks. You definitely can. That's just my style. And that's not always the case. I'll use my blush along this area. And I usually use more of like an orange. I use a variety of orange colors because I tend to be kind of a mix between orange and pink toned, a little bit more on the orange side. So I find it looks more flattering when I wear orange tinted blushes. I look more alive than fake, I guess. And I will concentrate a darker shade along here, and I will still highlight along here that really bright spot. Yeah, there. So still catches the light and accentuates this shade. But I won't focus on darkening here at all, unless I'm doing a more masculine thing. I also tend to contour my nose more dramatically for masculine makeup. And I accentuate like the very tip kind of, for me I have a little bulb there. It's my natural honker, my clown nose, my beeper. I will accentuate that with blush as well. I don't usually bridge the blush here. You can. It's a different effect, it accentuates different things. I will also darken the eye socket when I'm going more masculine, accentuating right here where you can see those shadows. I'll still accentuate also under the eyes. When I do my more feminine makeup, I do my makeup higher. I go out more. I try to make my eyes look almost like bigger, whereas masculine I tend to make them look more sunken in, which makes them look smaller. I also more heavily contour for more masculine looks. Areas like up here. I want to make this one a more sharp angle. I darken this here into my hairline. It makes my brow bone stand out more, which is right here. The brow bone here comes around to here where my eyebrow is shaved off. So in accentuating here, the eye socket, and along the jaw, I kind of make this 3 shape, which I can do on both sides. Sometimes I will also accentuate my widow's peak. It helps kind of create almost an M shape when I get the sides as well. It's often hidden still by my hair though. I sometimes also contour down to my neck, getting my jaw real sharply, getting my neck kind of defined, especially for more masculine, but I sometimes do it for both depending on what I'm doing. I also will contour further down if it's showing sometimes, which I can go over later if people want to know and want to see. That's how I can display the basic breakdown of the bone structure and what I'm accentuating when I'm doing my contouring. Looking at it this way has been immensely helpful in making my contouring look more natural from a variety of angles instead of only looking good like head on and then looking like dirt on my face from other angles. And remember, makeup is just pretty face dirt. It's ultimately pretty face dirt. And we smear it on our face in different ways. It's supposed to be fun. I know societal standards play a role. I know a lot of what I'm speaking to is societal expectations and norms, especially like cis heteronormative, binary reinforced, especially like generic white preferences. That's how I have found passing is useful with leaning into some of those tools. I believe in taking advantage of the systems that take advantage of you. So, taking advantage of people's assumptions on what means what and what presentation is associated with what things. I find empowerment in that. It's a very nuanced topic. And I will leave it at that for now.